Welcome to the Network Plus Prepcast, your dedicated audio companion for mastering every objective on the CompTIA Network Plus certification exam. This series is produced by baremetalcyber.com. Labs and simulations are one of the most powerful tools in the Network Plus candidates' learning toolbox. They serve as a bridge between abstract theoretical content and hands-on experience by allowing learners to reinforce key concepts in an active way. Rather than just reading about protocols or device functions, learners can see how those elements behave in real time. Labs also allow students to become familiar with the tools used to monitor, manage, and troubleshoot networks. Practicing task execution in a simulated environment helps convert passive knowledge into applied technical skills. Hands-on practice is a critical part of mastering the material tested on the Network Plus exam. By interacting with simulated environments, learners gain a deeper understanding of the how and why behind network behavior. This form of learning enhances overall comprehension by linking actions to outcomes. It also develops troubleshooting intuition, giving learners a better feel for how to isolate problems and identify solutions. These experiences help reinforce theoretical material and prepare candidates for the kinds of tasks they'll encounter in both the exam and the workplace. Labs offer a safe and flexible way to experiment with networking principles. In lab environments, learners can make changes, observe results, and repeat the process without the risk of damaging production systems. This creates the freedom to test different configurations, troubleshoot deliberate mistakes, and explore how devices interact in various network topologies. The ability to repeat technical actions is especially useful in networking education because it enables learners to build muscle memory for procedures that are frequently tested. There are multiple lab formats available to students preparing for Network Plus, each with its own benefits. Many online learning platforms include virtual labs that simulate real equipment and allow users to complete guided tasks. These labs may involve drag-and-drop interfaces or pre-built walkthroughs that replicate specific scenarios. While the depth and realism can vary, all of these lab types offer interactive exposure to the concepts described in study guides, helping learners apply theory to action in a tangible way. Performance-based questions on the Network Plus exam are closely related to simulation logic found in labs. These exam questions present real-world problems and require test takers to perform actions in a specific sequence to resolve issues or complete configurations. The steps must follow logical order, and often partial credit is given even if the full solution isn't reached. Practicing with labs that mimic these tasks builds familiarity with the structure and pacing required by these exam items, allowing candidates to feel more comfortable when tackling them under time constraints. Certain topics benefit more from hands-on practice than others, making them strong candidates for lab-based review. These include areas like IP addressing and subnetting, where learners can experiment with different masks and ranges to see their effects. Configuring basic devices such as routers, switches, and wireless access points is another key focus area. Labs also provide a great opportunity to interpret command line outputs and interface data, helping learners practice the art of reading what the system is telling them. Repeating lab exercises is essential for building fluency and reinforcing understanding. The more a learner performs a task, the more it becomes second nature. Over time, repetition reveals patterns in command usage and device behavior, helping learners predict outcomes with greater confidence. This builds both speed and accuracy, two qualities that are crucial for timed exams. Instead of recalling steps mentally, learners who have repeated labs can rely on instinct and muscle memory to guide their actions quickly and effectively. Network emulators and simulators are widely used tools in certification study because they replicate real devices using software. Examples include platforms that simulate Cisco devices, generic switches, and routers using command line or GUI interfaces. These tools are often platform-independent and can run on standard laptops without requiring specialized hardware. Although they are not identical to physical devices, their behavior is similar enough to provide useful insights into configurations, commands, and network responses. Labs play an important role in improving concept retention because they engage multiple senses and learning channels. Reading about a protocol is one level of understanding, but applying it in a simulation and seeing how it affects connectivity elevates that understanding. Active learning strengthens memory by tying information to actions. The physical act of typing commands, observing results, and fixing problems creates a mental connection between theory and real-world function, making the material more memorable and easier to recall on test day. Hands-on troubleshooting in a lab environment mirrors the investigative thinking required by both the certification and on-the-job scenarios. Labs present opportunities to explore what happens when settings are incorrect, configurations are missing, or devices don't respond. Learners must identify the root cause, follow a sequence of logical steps, and apply corrections. These exercises build a deeper understanding of symptoms and causes, while teaching candidates how to isolate variables and draw conclusions based on evidence. Key traits for effective technical analysis. Lab content can and should be aligned directly with the official Network Plus exam objectives. Many online lab platforms offer modules mapped to individual domains or subdomains within the certification structure. This ensures that practice reinforces what will be tested. By choosing lab activities that reflect the real requirements of the exam, candidates can be sure that their hands-on practice isn't just productive, it's strategic. These targeted labs are designed not only to build skill, but also to reflect the question types and competencies that show up in performance-based assessments. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other podcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. The experience of using labs differs in several ways from working with real physical devices, though both provide valuable learning opportunities. In virtual labs, device response time may be slightly faster or slower than in actual hardware, and some delays common in physical networks may not be accurately replicated. There is also no tactile feedback, no plugging in cables or adjusting physical switches. While this limits exposure to hardware-specific tasks, the emphasis remains on functionality and command structure, which is exactly what the exam focuses on. Keeping track of lab progress is vital for reinforcing skills and measuring improvement. One useful technique is maintaining a lab journal where each session is recorded along with its goals, actions taken, and lessons learned. Reviewing command history from previous labs can also help spot patterns in errors or successes. Over time, this documentation highlights where you're improving and where additional effort may be needed. It also becomes a personalized study guide that evolves with your learning. Access to lab resources is broader today than ever before, and many tools are free or low cost. Learners can use browser-based virtual labs, subscription platforms with built-in assessments, or downloadable emulators that run locally. Free tools often provide simplified environments, while paid platforms may offer more structured, exam-aligned scenarios. Local software installations give users more flexibility and often support deeper customization. Depending on your budget and preferences, a combination of these resources can create a rich, layered hands-on experience. Simulations provide a unique opportunity to visualize network behavior, which deepens your understanding of how systems interact. Watching packet flow across devices or seeing how configurations change output helps build intuition for troubleshooting. Simulations often include time-sensitive behavior that shows how long it takes for devices to respond or how certain conditions affect performance. These visualizations teach patterns that support long-term comprehension and increase familiarity with the dynamics of interconnected systems. Basic device configuration is one of the core skills practiced in most labs, and it forms a key part of both the exam and real-world job duties. Assigning IP addresses, enabling interfaces, and verifying connectivity with tools like ping and traceroute are fundamental. These actions reinforce understanding of what is required for a device to participate in a network. In a lab setting, you can safely test various combinations, examine failure states, and learn how each adjustment changes the overall system behavior. Interacting with network tools in a simulated environment gives you a practical advantage when approaching exam questions. Labs provide access to command line interfaces where learners can run basic utilities, explore routing tables, or check ARP caches. These tools are also valuable for validating configurations and confirming changes. Being familiar with these interactive processes not only prepares you for performance-based items, but also helps you develop habits and intuition that carry into future work scenarios. Integrating labs into a study plan requires thoughtful timing. They are most beneficial when used after initial exposure to a topic, allowing learners to test and reinforce what they've just learned. Labs can also be used as part of weekly review cycles, especially to revisit domains that have been previously studied. They are particularly useful for reinforcing weak areas that did not stick during reading or lecture sessions. Repetition through labs helps convert uncertain concepts into confident, practical knowledge. Despite their many benefits, simulations and labs are not a complete replacement for physical device practice. Simulated environments are often simplified, and they lack real-world elements such as hardware failures, cabling issues, and physical installation tasks. They also do not simulate power issues or signal degradation from environmental factors. These limitations mean that labs are best viewed as one part of a broader study strategy, offering depth in logic and process but not physical troubleshooting. The general conclusion: hands-on learning through labs and simulations strengthens both your confidence and your ability to solve problems under exam conditions. It translates theoretical content into applied skill, connects concepts to commands, and builds intuition through repetition. For Network Plus candidates, labs serve not only as a study tool, but as a training ground for the scenarios they will face, both on the exam and in real-world IT roles. A study plan that includes regular lab work prepares you more completely and more effectively for certification success. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Network Plus Prepcast, your trusted audio guide to the CompTIA Network Plus certification. This episode was produced by baremetalcyber.com. For more cybersecurity podcasts, books, and resources, visit baremetalcyber.com. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cybersecurity Plus podcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com. And before you take the test, make sure to check out the practice questions in the book Achieve CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. They cover every domain and are a powerful way to lock in your knowledge.